Hey y'all, this is Brescia Green. Welcome to my channel. I'm not feeling well. I think the flu vaccine got something to do with this. I just knew I was going to get sick after I got that flu vaccine. But anyways, I just wanted to take the time and talk about something that's been bothering me for the last couple of days. I feel like the school that my daughter goes to neglected her. My daughter, Isis, is 5 years old and she is on the spectrum. So she is autistic, and I've asked during an IEP meeting if they can make sure before Isis started school that she was on a special education bus. The first week of school, I noticed that Isis was riding the bus with other kids, and I talked to her dad, and he was like, maybe that's a good thing. She needs to be with other kids. She needs to socialize. And I'm like, okay, we'll see how it goes. The second week of school, there was an issue where Isis' grandma was supposed to get her because I was out of town. And her grandma parked on the wrong side of the street. Isis walked behind the car, so she didn't see her because the direction her grandma was. She didn't see her because she was in the wrong direction. Isis was able to walk home on her own, and I felt some type of way about that because that's not safe, especially for a child who doesn't look both ways when she crosses the street. So I called the school, and they basically told me that they're not responsible for her once she gets off the bus. And I thought it was kind of crazy because when Uriah was in kindergarten, the bus driver waited until there was a parent to get the child. But the school was telling me that my 5-year-old daughter was pretty much on her own after she got off the bus if I wasn't there. So I asked them basically, why wasn't she on a special education bus? We talked about it. It should have been in the IEP. They said they would get back to me. 2 weeks later, I brought it up again, and I was told by ICE's special education teacher that she talked to the district staff that determines transportation, and they said it was suggested but not requested on ICE's IEP. And we could revisit it during the next meeting. So we have the next meeting in another 2 weeks. And one of the IEP team people, whatever they called, said that the special education bus was included, but it was overlooked. It was put in a different spot than it's usually supposed to be in, so it was overlooked. But we can't put it in place until I have a meeting with somebody in higher management. Once I meet with them, that they could put the special education bus in place. On October 31st, I was moving from Allied to Park Street. So I've been busy for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks packing and trying to get ready for this apartment because I was having a lot of issues getting into my new apartment because of some things that I cannot control. And I must have missed the memo where Isis was going to be getting out of school earlier than usual. Basically, they had school for like 2 hours. And Isis was dropped off to Genuine, and she walked home by herself to a vacant apartment because I had moved. And Isis was going to be picked up by her dad at the normal early release time, which is like 12 o'clock, like 12:20 or something like that. But they had an earlier release that I did not know of and he did not know of. And Isis was dropped off on Genuine. She crossed 2 streets again, where she doesn't look both ways. She went to the vacant apartment. I'm sure she rung the doorbell over and over and cried because when I got there, she was in tears. And not once did my daughter think to open the door. The door was unlocked. I was on my way back to lock the unit up and hand in the keys after moving the last load to the new apartment. And I see my daughter on the porch just crying. And I'm grateful that she did not leave that porch. I do not play about my kids. And I know for sure I would have lost it. Especially if we would have got her at the time that we thought school was out. That has to be neglect. If the school can just put a kid on a bus and say, once you get to your residence, we're done. We don't care about you after you get off the bus. Especially a child with a disability who is not capable of cognitively understanding that she should open a door, just stand there and ring the doorbell and cry. I tried to prevent something like this from happening by having her on a special education bus. I've even tried to prepare her for something like this. I told her several times because the school was not listening. I said, Isis, if for some reason that you get off the bus and I'm not here waiting for you, go to the Boys and Girls Club and tell them that you don't know where I am. My daughter did the only thing that she knew, and that's to go home and ring the doorbell. My kids do not go outside by themselves. They do not walk around the neighborhood or anything like that by themselves. It's just crazy how they let a child with a disability get off of a bus and just do whatever. It's even crazier to me that after I told them that my daughter is autistic and that they had her on a normal bus, they continued to put her on this bus. So, That's how my Halloween went. I was very upset. And today I removed her from school and I will be homeschooling her. Tell me what you think. Do you think that I'm overreacting, or do you think this happened because my daughter is black? Do you think they ignored my concerns because I was black? Would this have happened had I been white? Would the school have been more concerned about a white child with a disability? Does us living on Allied Drive have something to do with the neglect my daughter had to deal with?